Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome back to a brand new edition, or welcome to the channel if you're brand new for that matter, and thank you for tuning into this review where I am here to talk about the brand new entry into the Scream franchise, which is simply titled Scream, or people might know this as Scream 5, which I was hoping that it would go with that title, so it kind of makes just sense in the series instead of being like, oh, have you seen Scream? And people's going to be like, well, which one? So yeah, I'm going to title this as kind of like Scream 5 for this review. So it's a brand new movie and it's the first one not to be directed by Wes Craven. So just a little bit of a background before I go any further into this. I've only just recently watched all the Scream movies basically for the first ever time besides the fourth one. We've got the directors of Ready or Not, who is Tyler Gillett and Matt Bettinelli-Olpin. So the cast in this movie, of course, we've got our core three returning. We've got Neve Campbell, we've also got Courteney and David Arquette. We've also got a list of brand new cast members as well, including like Quaid, Minnette, Jenna Ortega, Melissa Barrera. We've also got so many to list, otherwise I'd be here forever. So the plot of Scream 5 is set around 25 years after a streak of brutal murders in a quiet town of Woodsboro. A new killer dons the Ghostface mask and begins terrorizing a group of teenagers to resurrect secrets from the town's deadliest past. Well, let's get straight to the positives of this movie. It was certainly an enjoyable movie, and it's certainly not one of the worst sequels that they could ever make in any kind of horror franchise. I found this to be a good time. I found that the kills as well were really gory and gruesome, which is what you want, and I'm really glad they actually kind of stepped up a little bit in this installment and took this more seriously. I really one of my negatives has been in terms of the past Scream movies is that Ghostface is always portrayed to be some kind of comedy character, although he's meant to be a menacing slasher serial killer as such, you know. And I've never really felt that as such in the past installments. One thing I said to my partner is when I've seen the past installments, sometimes I haven't been able to look at Ghostface seriously because of how they portrayed him in Scary Movie. So I like that they stepped this up and did a serious take, and Ghostface was actually kind of like a menacing threat, and you didn't want to be in their paths of crossing Ghostface, otherwise you know it's going to go down badly for you. Of course, our core three are back. David Arquette, Courteney and Neve Campbell are back, and they are great in this movie as always. They've definitely become characters who are very likeable and ones that you want to root for and see more and more. It was great to have them back, and once again, Neve Campbell is awesome in the role of Sidney Prescott. Definitely more mature in this movie as time has passed since the fourth one, which I believe was in 2011. So it's nice to kind of learn a bit about what she's been up to in this time, and also our characters of Gale Weathers and Dewey Riley. So it's really cool that we got that context and background about them and what they've been up to in this space of time and where their lives have been and where it's actually led to that point. I've also got to praise some of the new cast that we get in this movie, especially one of my favourites was Minnette's character, who plays a character called Wes Hicks. I really enjoy his character. I think he's a great actor overall. And yeah, I definitely think some of the acting in this is great by some of the cast. Not all the cast, which I'll get to very shortly. Do believe that in certain parts did pay respect to the previous Scream movies, which I enjoyed. I like those kind of homages to an extent to some of them that they did. And it's also one part in this movie where after a certain kill, what I would recommend is go on IMDb and research a little bit about that and the context behind that kill, and it'll certainly give more meaning to this movie, because overall I felt like there was some stakes held in this movie throughout when the kills are happening. Again, because of this more serious, grounded approach to Ghostface themselves, it added that extra stakes towards our Act 3 and the finale of this movie. I felt like the payoff in terms of the build-up, in a sense, worked to an extent, but unfortunately this is where my negatives get into the movie. Now, a lot of people are raving about Scream 5. They're thinking that this is one of the best made sequels that they've done. Now, I can't really agree with that entirely, simply because the reveal of Ghostface, I wasn't a fan of the reveal at all. The reveal of who they went with, I didn't think really made a big bunch of sense. Plus, I felt like they could have gone a different route with some characters that's in this movie that would have fit the Ghostface reveal far better. And all this payoff to the seriousness of Ghostface and more grounded, gruesome kills and everything that happened in this movie was kind of thrown away at the last moment. And it definitely had some predictability factor to it for sure. Now again, predictability isn't all bad at all, but it's how they use that payoff and how they're going to go forward I've just felt was very, very weak. Now, we also have in this movie where it's focused on Melissa Barrera's character and Jenny Ortega's character, two sisters who play Sam and Tara, I believe. And Tara, for me, was the better actress than Sam. I wasn't really rooting for Sam at all. And there's a reveal about Sam's character, how this kind of all starts off. And yeah, one thing I'm going to say, and it's not really a spoiler, but they use some de-aging in this movie. The de-aging was absolutely terrible. It was almost as bad as Tony Todd in the brand new Candyman movie. It was that bad. It just took me right out of the movie. And they also portrayed it in a way that just undermines what they've done previously in Scream. And I just wasn't a fan of that in the slightest. And yes, some of the casting choices of some of the characters wasn't great. They didn't really have like a fantastic, utterly brilliant backstory that you could really invest in. No, I just felt like some of the characters were really weak. And again, Melissa Barrera is a talented actress. She even proved that in the movie In the Heights. But I also felt like in this movie, she was very similar to the acting performance she gave in The Heights, but just adapting that into a horror movie. I couldn't really tell the difference between both of them. And there was one other thing that I predicted before the movie even started, before I even got to see the movie. I was actually with my partner eating some food in a restaurant. I said, right, well, I bet in the new Scream movie, they're going to go in this direction with the movie, and that's how it's going to end it. Hey, yeah, I was right. Not to say it's a bad thing in the slightest, but I knew they were going to go that route. And again, I just don't think it paid off really well. So overall, with Scream, or Scream 5, however you want to title this, it was an enjoyable movie, and I would say if you're a fan of the franchise, definitely give it a watch and form your own opinion on what you think of the movie. For me, I would revisit it. I would like to see it maybe in, say, a year or a couple of years' time to see if it's maybe held up better than this initial viewing, or if it's actually just the same for me, or if it's even worse. And if they go forward with this franchise, I'd like to see the direction that they go in, because it'd be very interesting how they're going to go forward with that. So my overall score for Scream 5 is... So if you've seen the movie yourself, leave your comments down below and let me know what you thought of the movie, or if you're excited to see the movie as well. Let me know, or tell me what you're most excited about for seeing this movie. In the meantime, please give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. And until the next time that I see you, I'll be seeing you later.